Hi everybody, this is Adrena Nicole Anzaldua, shamanic practitioner, somatic therapist, and I am here for your August divination card reading. My cards are a little bit different than what you may see out there in the world these days because these cards I created. This is the Inner Oracle deck. This is a divination deck that I made specifically for healers, sensitives, and empaths so that way we can really know what's going on. For the past few months, I have done this divination reading and I've gotten so many great comments as well as views. So I am just super excited to offer this month's card reading. As always, please practice discernment with any reading, whether it's from me, your own, other people's. I'm going to be shuffling the cards 3 times. I have one more shuffle here. All right, so this card for the month of August is Strength. Okay, all right, so let's talk about my intention for this card. You will see the picture of the mountain. As a yoga instructor, I really think about the mountain as Tadasana. So Tadasana is mountain pose in yoga. And Tadasana, or a mountain, is such a pillar of strength. It is connected to the earth, yet it stands really tall. There is an inner strength of a mountain. And so for the month of August, it sounds like you are being called to pull upon your strength. I am picking up that this is really about your inner strength, and as well as really focusing on what are your strengths. What are you naturally really good at? What is something that you resonate with? What is something that lights you up? That is maybe a hobby or something that you do that maybe can become something a little bit more. Another thing is that perhaps if the month of August is a little bit tumultuous or chaotic, this card is asking you to pull upon the strength of not only yourself, but also your resources. And so understanding that we cannot go through this life alone. We're not supposed to go through this life without support or without resources. So this is a really great time for you to look at your inner resources, to look at your outer resources. Who and what do you have for support? Who and what do you have for support that is go-to, that you know that can support you? One of the biggest journeys of my healing journey was being able to discern who was going to be able to help me, perhaps in a time of crisis or perhaps with something else. And so really gathering all of those resources so that way you feel really supported throughout this month. So I'm actually being pulled to draw another card for this month, and I'm not sure why. Okay, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and do this one. So this is a 2-card reading. I don't expect this to happen very often, but whenever I do feel called. The other card is discernment. Discernment. This is one of my favorite concepts. My favorite concepts is discernment. So let me define discernment for you. I'm not a dictionary, so I'm gonna do the best that I can in my own words. Discernment is the ability to determine what is yours and what isn't. And that would be discernment in the energy world, okay? And so August is going to be all about discernment, about you utilizing some sort of a divination technique whenever it comes to choices that you're making. Divination could be something like a pendulum, tarot cards, oracle cards, divination cards. Some people use scrying. There's so many ways to use divination. But really what our divination is a second check. And that way, discernment is really allowing us to like fine tune and see things. And so let's talk really quickly about the difference between intuition and discernment. I love to use this analogy of, let's say like you're going on a hike somewhere. And you are at the base of, let's say a mountain or something like that, and you have 2 pathways. And you stand there and you're like, okay, my intuition is telling me to go to the right side, okay? And maybe your intuition is tapping into like a beautiful like waterfall or some scenery, or just perhaps your intuition is just saying like, hey, let's go this side. Discernment is the second check here. So then discernment in this analogy would be like, okay, let me check a map. Let me check some sort of a resource to see like, is this trail going to be like a good one for me? So meaning like, elevation wise, like, is this going to be safe? And so discernment would be that second check. And so what this is telling me is that we need to be really strong in our decisions, but also continuing to use discernment. And so this is an interesting dynamic this month of strength and discernment. And if you need a resource on discernment, I have a few blogs on discernment, and I'll go ahead and post those below. I hope that you guys have a great August, having that inner strength, those inner resources, as well as practicing that beautiful art of discernment. I look forward to seeing you guys next month for your next month's Oracle card reading. Let me know if this resonated with you. I also want to say that for these cards, like these are the cards that, like I created them, and so I know their meanings, right? However, it's really, really important. Like, what does strength mean to you? And what does discernment mean to you? And then maybe take some time to think about that as well. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being here, for supporting my channel, and for practicing divination with me through the Inner Oracle cards, a divination deck made specifically for healers. Guys, thank you again. This is Adrena Nicole Anzaldua, and I'll see you next month.